Welcome to Inside the Deal. I'm Suzanne Stevens. With me today is Jim Nelson. Jim is a partner with the Salt Lake City-based Peterson Partners and also spent 15 years with Millennial Capital Partners. Jim, a lot has changed in private equity over the last year and really over the last 2 years. What's the state of play for private equity firms right now in today's market?
It should be the same as it's always been. But frankly, a lot of things changed in the last few years, and that was when the real significant changes happened, where big private equity firms were raising bigger and bigger funds and taking advantage of anomalies in the market, like cheap and easy to get debt. But what really private equity should have always been, and was from the beginning, and should be now, is being great partners with entrepreneurs and management. And that's the key. And frankly, going forward, the people who are going to be great management teams guiding great businesses through the recession and then rocketing out after the recession, those great management teams are going to need capital. And right now, private equity is in a great position to be able to provide the capital, since it's tough to get capital elsewhere.
So the focus maybe got a little too heavily on financial engineering and less on the actual operational management and performance of portfolio companies.
You know, so much of what private equity, certain private equity companies and private equity partners did was really start putting a focus on making personal money, instead of building quality businesses, and making sure that their motivations were aligned with those of the limited partners and with their management teams. When they align those things and make sure that everybody makes money at the same time, it really works out great. But when private equity people start taking fees that are $100 million a year and so forth, it really gets things fouled up and the focus becomes completely different. And that way, private equity doesn't work.
Well, the focus still is on making money, though, right?
True enough.
That is the ultimate goal.
That's true. But it's also making money for your investors. It's making money for your management teams. It's not just making money on fee business like they have in the last few years.
And so you're saying that the focus, the way to make money in the long term for everyone involved is to focus on the portfolio companies, which I would imagine in this market is what a lot of PE firms are doing right now, focusing on the portfolio.
You hear a really consistent message from private equity firms. When I talk to partners in other firms and when my partners are out networking with other firms, we hear the exact same thing from everybody. We have great liquidity right now because we have a brand new fund, but we're looking at new deals on a very selective basis, and our focus really is on making the companies that we have work. That said, we think that there are going to be fantastic opportunities available in the next 6 months.
I do want to get to short and long-term opportunities, but first of all, I'm wondering how well-positioned generally would you say private equity firms are in terms of the talent internally to focus on management, to focus on partnering with the entrepreneurs and really improving the business?
It's a great question, and of course it varies from organization to organization. When I was with Bain & Company years ago, I was in a meeting where Bill Bain stood up and said, "We've been adding value to our clients for years, and the next logical step for us is to do it on our own account. So here's Mitt Romney, and he's going to run our new Bain Capital." That was when Bain Capital was this little teeny thing, and now, of course, it's one of the 5 or 6 biggest private equity companies in the world. But at the time, his point was, look, the whole idea behind what we're going to do is that we're going to buy companies which we think are well positioned strategically, and then we're going to apply what we do to add value to the company. And I think that's probably where private equity started and should be now. And I think a lot of private equity companies have recognized that and have brought in operating partners, which is my role essentially at Peterson. And those people who have been CEOs like I have, or who have been consultants, are in great shape to provide that.
So,
on the other hand, sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
On the other hand, a lot of companies are out there just with these young financial executives who have done nothing other than raise and place money. And how are they going to add value to companies where the CEO has to write a check out of his own account to cover payroll sometimes?
And I guess coming out of the environment and the market that we're in right now, investing, shoring up the companies that you're investing in is going to be more important.
Critical.
Than ever. So, Jim, let's talk about opportunities in the short term and in the long term. What's your outlook?
Well, I think for the next 6 months, I think you have to be very cautious. There's going to be an adjustment in the way people think about their valuations. People who have thought that their company was worth $25 million haven't yet adjusted to the fact that it's probably only worth 15 now. And it's going to take them a while to figure out that that's really the case. After a while, those companies who probably still have great management teams, who probably still have great business models and have a real opportunity are going to see that they're flat sales right now and they're struggling through the recession, but have an opportunity to come, and they're going to need capital. I think probably 6 months from now, the companies that are great partners and have a reputation for being great partners are going to find fantastic deals in the second half of 2009. And then in the long run, I think that there are always going to be people who take advantage of the anomalies in the market to enrich themselves. You know, they're going to do it wrong, they're going to make money, but you know, the way it really should be is that the people who I think really flourish and will really contribute to business America and to America as a whole are those people who will really focus on building teams and building quality businesses. And I think those people do great no matter what the market looks like.
Jim Nelson with Peterson Partners, thanks for coming by.
Good to be here. Thank you.
I'm Suzanne Stevens. Thanks for watching Inside the Deal.